Dear students, you are going to learn on the topic life process. What are the criteria to decide whether something is alive? For example, I can speak of an organism. Whether an organism is alive. How will you know it's alive? Now, how will you know that a human being is alive, a bird is alive, an animal is alive? How will you know? Because of his movement. What movement are we talking about? We are talking about the body movement. For example, if we speak about ourselves, what are the movement we are trying to speak of? Our body movement. When we sit, body movement is there. When we stand, when we run, when we walk. So there are body movements to show that we are alive. Are we able to see these movements? Yes, we are able to see these movements. So these movements, especially the bodily movements, are called as what is called the visible movements. So visible movement will show that an organism is alive. Okay, this is one movement we are trying to speak of. One more we have to show that an organism is alive, but it is not visible to our eyes. That is nothing but what we call as a molecular movements. Can you see the movement of respiration that takes place inside our body, digestion that takes place inside our body, circulation, the blood flows to different organ of our body. Are you able to see those? No. So those we call the molecular movements. So molecule move in our body. So movement of molecule is most important criteria to show an organism is alive. But are we able to see? No, we cannot. So those movements we call the invisible movements. So there are two types of movements to show an organism is alive: visible and invisible. Visible you are able to see, invisible you are not able to see. Visible is a movement of a body, parts of body. Invisible molecular movements. This both movements are very important to find out whether an organism is alive. I hope it's clear. So how will you know an organism is alive? By its movement. What are the two types of movements we are trying to speak of? Visible and invisible. What are the visible? We are able to see our own movement, body movement, a hand movement, a leg movement, everything. Yes. What is the one more we are trying to speak of? Is the invisible movement. What is the invisible movement? It is the molecular movement. So visible and invisible. Visible body parts, invisible molecular movements. Okay, for example, if we speak of a bird is dead, an animal is dead, will they be able to move on their own? No, they cannot move unless there is an external force is applied. So without the external force, if an organism is able to move, it is alive. A dead animal, a dead bird, will they be able to fly on its own? No. A dead animal, will they be able to move on their own? No. Unless we lift them. Yes. So external force is applied to this organism. So those will not be able to move unless we lift. So that speaks of the organism is dead. Where there is no both the movements. Visible movement also is not there. Invisible movements also is not there. So visible and invisible both are stopped. So that's why to know an organism is alive, you need to know these two movements. So visible and invisible. So these are the examples you can find. Bird is given, fish is given, atom, yes, to know the movements. Let's go to discuss about life process. What exactly is life process? So life process are the basic process in living organism which are necessary for maintaining their life. So process which will maintain our life. Now, for example, you have learned in 8th also you have learned, in 9th also you have learned. What is cell? What is cell? Structural and functional unit. The cell will maintain the structure, cell will maintain the function of our body. If any cell is not functioning, controlling maybe a particular structure, controlling maybe a particular function, what is affected? Our structure is affected, our function is affected. So that's what it calls maintaining. So maintaining our body. So what it maintains? The process. So we are not speaking only one process. We are speaking of more than one process. So more than one process. That's a process together function to maintain our body. So maintaining a body, what are they going to maintain? They are going to maintain our life. So that's what we are trying to speak of. What exactly is the life process? So life process is nothing but the process to gather function to maintain the life. It can be the life of plants, it can be the life of microbes, it can be the life of animal. I hope it is clear what exactly is life process. Process to gather the function to maintain the life. So what are those basic processes? Can you see now what are those? So you'll find the nutrition, respiration, transportation and excretion. So what is nutrition? Nutrition is a process of taking food by an organism and its utilization by the body for life process. So what are we doing with the nutrition? So it's taking a food and you're utilizing for the body to continue the life. That's for life process. So you're taking a food and you're using it in order to maintain your body. Okay, what is the respiration? Respiration is nothing but it is also is a process in which you're going to burn the food. It's not a food that you're going to, what do you call it, directly you're taking food. Okay, after the food you take it, what happens to food in the digestion? It turns into nutrients, the vital substance which maintains the body. So nutrients is burned, nutrients is broken down in the cell with the help of oxygen. So when it's broken down in the presence of oxygen, what do they release? They release energy. That energy is used for different functioning of our body. So that's why respiration is also is nothing but process by which what is broken down? Nutrients is broken down. With whose help are we talking about? Oxygen. What are they going to give? Energy. Yes. So that is what you call as a respiration. Okay. The third is the transportation. It's a process by which food, oxygen, water, waste products are carried from one part of the body to another. So all these materials in our body is carried from one part of the body to another. That we call it as a circulation or we call it as a transportation. The last one, what you are going to learn in the 10th standard, excretion. It's a process by which waste products are removed from the body. You're removing all the waste. So waste products is formed by the digestion, by the respiration. Yes. So each process will produce a little bit of what you call as waste. So whatever things we do, there is a little bit of what you call as waste. So it has to be eliminated. It has to be removed. If it is not removed from a body, it turns into what you call as a toxic. So to remove this product, waste product from our body, that process we call it as a excretion. So these are 4 processes that you are going to learn in this chapter: nutrition, respiration, transportation and excretion. So you'll find the diagram there. First one is the digestive system, excretion, last one is excretion, second one is the respiratory system, third one is circulation. Okay, let us discuss about nutrition. What is nutrition? Nutrition is a process of taking food by an organism and is its utilization by the body to build the body, for growth, to repair the damaged parts of the body, and for energy. So we are not taking the food we are not taking the food only for energy. We are taking the food for different purpose. Just to see here, to build the body, to maintain the body structure. We are trying to speak of growth. You are growing every day, every year. So what helps you to grow? It's the food. To repair the damaged parts. What are repairing? If you get any wound, you are hurt. So that is healed. It is because of the food that you take. So that's what repair the damaged parts of the body, and for energy to do the activities, to run, to walk, to sleep. All those activities need what? Energy. So where are you going to get this energy? You are going to get energy from the food. So life on earth depends on carbon-based molecule. Carbon-based molecule. And most of the food are also carbon. So whatever we take, different types of food, it has a carbon. That's what I learned last year, previous year. The three main constituents of food. First you find as a carbon. Yes, everything. Even carbohydrate has a carbon, protein has a carbon, fat has a carbon. So all the food that we take in is of carbon. That's a carbon-based molecule, and they are very important for our body. Okay. The types of nutrition. Mode is nothing but type. So there are two types of nutrition. There are autotrophic and heterotrophic nutrition. So all of you are thorough with this, but let us just revise once again. Autotrophic is nothing but in which organism prepare their own food from simple inorganic substance like carbon dioxide and water in the presence of sunlight and chlorophyll. So from inorganic substance, which are those inorganic substances? Carbon dioxide and water, and then in the presence of sunlight and chlorophyll. What are they going to prepare? They're preparing organic molecule. From inorganic molecule, they prepare organic molecule with the help of sunlight and chlorophyll. So what are the example? Green plants and some bacteria. Not all the bacteria, only some bacteria. Heterotrophic. What is heterotrophic nutrition? It's nothing but organisms get their food directly or indirectly from plants. Why do they get from the plants? Because these are the organisms which cannot prepare their own food. They have to depend upon another organism, especially the plants. What are the example you can see? All animals, fungi and some bacteria. Okay, in this heterotrophic nutrition, you'll find some more types. Okay, that's why there are three main types of heterotrophic. What are those? Saprophytic, parasitic and holozoic. So again, you have learned. I hope you know it. If you don't know, just let's see what are those saprophytic, parasitic and holozoic nutrition. The saprophytic nutrition. This is a nutrition in which organisms get their food from which animals we are speaking of? Dead and decaying organisms. So they break down the food material outside the body and then absorb. So this is what you call it as a saprophytic nutrition. From where do they get? From dead and decaying. And they decay or they break down the food material outside. And then they absorb the food. What are the examples you can speak of? Mushroom, bread mold, yeast and some bacteria. So these are called as saprophytic. So saprophytic nutrition are nothing but where organisms depend upon the dead and decaying for their food. Simple. Okay. Parasitic. So what is parasitic? Is nutrition in which organisms get their food from living organism. This living organism is called as a host without killing them. The host organism is the organism from where they get, but they don't kill them. Clear? That we call as a parasite. So they obtain from an organism which is a living organism. So that's what we call as a host organism. So what are the examples you find? So there are different examples. Cuscuta, orchids, ticks, lice, leeches, roundworm, tapeworm, plasmodium, etc. So these are the examples you find for parasitic nutrition. Holozoic. So what is a holozoic? In this nutrition, in which an organism take food directly and then digest and absorbs. They depend directly, like a plants. We take the plant, eat the plant, digest the plant, and then assimilate it. Assimilated means what? Sent to different parts of our body that will absorb. In the intestine, we have villi-like finger-like structure called as a villi. Okay, that absorbs the nutrients and then sent to different parts of our body. That's what we call it. So amoeba, paramecium, birds, fishes, and humans. So this we call as a holozoic nutrition. So which are three types you have learned of heterotrophic nutrition? Saprophytic, parasitic, and holozoic. I hope you have understood what is autotrophic and heterotrophic and the types of heterotrophic nutrition.